Kylene Dibble, the Executive Director of Parents for Public Schools of Pitt County. I am so excited to be on Zoom today with folks at Ayden Middle School. And I'd love for you to hear who we have with us today at Ayden Middle School. Ms. Harrison, tell us who you are.
Ms. Harrison. I am the principal of Ayden Middle School.
Excellent. We're so glad to meet you today. Mrs. King, what's your role there at Ayden?
Good morning. My name is Miss Stephanie King, and I am fortunate to be the assistant principal here at Ayden Middle School.
Wonderful. That sounds like a dynamic duo there.
We are.
Mrs. Hill, you look like you're in a fun place in our Zoom. Tell us what you do there.
Yes, my name is Mrs. Hill, and I'm the media coordinator at Ayden Middle, and this is the best room in the whole school.
No bias there, right? Ms. Rodriguez, so good to have you with us today. Tell us about your role there at Ayden Middle School.
Sure. Hello, everybody. I'm Ashley Rodriguez, and I am the school counselor here at Ayden Middle School.
Fantastic. And we also have Mr. Jason Wade. Tell us what you do there.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Jason Wade. I'm the STEM facilitator here at the school.
Okay, so Mr. Wade does some STEM classes there, science, technology, engineering, and math for anyone who might be new to the school world. I do want to give a little bit of an explanation here because some folks might be watching this video years after we film it. We are filming during the coronavirus pandemic. And so anyone in our schools who is in a room where other people might be or might be encountering other people coming in, they're wearing a mask. Anyone who is alone right now may not be wearing a mask. So you might see people put it on or take it off because they are following such incredible safety standards there within Pitt County schools. We're going to start today with Ms. Rodriguez, the counselor at Ayden Middle School, and we're going to have everybody else turn their cameras off so that we can just see Ms. Rodriguez. And you're going to tell us a little bit about some of the extracurriculars and some of the exciting things happening there at Ayden Middle School.
Okay, hello everybody again. I'm Ashley Rodriguez and I am the school counselor here. So I'm going to start off with going through some counseling services and some things that I offer here at Ayden Middle. I do wear a lot of hats here, so it will seem like a longer list, but it is things that we have to offer here at Ayden Middle. So I am available for individual counseling, and of course, during these sessions, confidentiality is upheld, and anything that the student might be going through at that time, we will discuss in a confidential manner. I also do group counseling. Some of the counseling sessions I've had with a group is increasing self-esteem, a girls group, a guys group, talking about just social skills in middle school. So those are some of the topics we cover. I've also done classroom lessons for all grade levels, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And some of those are internet safety, appropriate hygiene, all about the don'ts of vaping, test taking skills, increasing self-esteem, just to name a few of them. This year, we really have incorporated social emotional learning into our curriculum as a school-wide initiative. So I've created these lessons that homeroom teachers use during homeroom and students do during the first 30 minutes of their day. We do have a Backpack Pals program for anybody in need. So if there are students who need some extra food during the weekends, we do provide that. You just need a permission form and we can get that situated. I'm also in charge of high school registration. So any 8th grader that is going to the high school, they will sit with me individually and we will choose their recommended classes and their electives that they choose based on their interests. We also do early college registration, Health Science Academy registration, and NERSBA registration for any students who are interested. In my office, I do have hygiene products, school supplies, and clothing for students who may need a jacket or sweatshirt or shirt, anything that they might need, they can take home with them and it's theirs to keep. We do referrals to Pride Therapy. So if a student needs to speak with a Pride therapist, I do the referrals for those. We just need parent permission. I also help students to create long and short-term goals. We deal with bullying. It is a no tolerance zone for bullying here at Ayden Middle School. So if that situation happens to come up, As long as we are aware of it, we jump on that right away, myself and administration, and take care of it as soon as possible. Just a few other things. We do offer at the moment online PCBA courses for 8th graders. So if they're interested in taking a high school course while they're in middle school, it does count for high school credit as long as they pass with a D or above. I'm the 504 coordinator. So if your students come in and they already have a 504, or this is something you think they need, they go through that process with me. And we also do outside agencies. We partner with them, such as Glam Girls, which is an all girls program, and Male Mentoring, which is an all guys program. So those are just some of the things that the counseling office offers here at Ayden Middle. As far as clubs, we did start last year where students were able to pick clubs based on their interests. It was every Friday at the last about 30 to 45 minutes of the day. Some of the clubs that we had were photography, anime, coloring and breathing, board games, dance club, National Junior Honor Society, Science Olympiad, Student Council, Battle of the Books, Walking Club, just to name a few. All of our teachers and staff members took on the responsibility of being in charge of a club. So we did have a huge variety of clubs that students could pick, and that would change each semester. So after the first half of the year, they could take something else that they were interested in. And last but not least, we do offer sports here, fall and winter sports. We have football, baseball, and softball, soccer, track, basketball, cheerleading, cross country, and volleyball. In addition, during the school year, we do host a lot of pep rallies, dances. We have a field day at the end of the year to get kids pumped up for the EOG testing and just have a good time in general. And we do a lot of field trips throughout the year as well with PBIS. So those are just some things that we offer here at Ayden Middle School. It is a great place to come to school. We have an excellent staff here. We have great leadership, and we look forward to having you guys in the future.
Wow, Miss Rodriguez, my head is spinning, not only with but all that these students have an opportunity to participate in, whether they need services because they may have something going on they need to talk through, or they have special needs, or they have interests that they want to get involved in and join a club for. It just sounds like there are so many opportunities for students there at Ayden Middle School. You mentioned PBIS there at the end. For anybody who might be new to public schools, can you tell us what PBIS is?
Sure. So students who have good behavior or in good academic standing are eligible as like a reward system. So sometimes they're gift cards or we just recognize them on the announcements. But if they are in good standing, both academically and with behavior, then they are eligible to go on field trips that we have throughout the year. Some of the field trips we've gone on is to go to ECU and see their basketball team play for their educational day. We've gone to the skating and bowling rink in Kinston. So there are just a variety of things that we have done. So as long as students are in good standing, haven't gotten into any major behavior, they are eligible, and we have an excellent time while we're there.
Wow. So parents who are watching this video, I am just blown away that these students at Ayden Middle School are learning so much academically, but becoming such well-rounded citizens with so many different opportunities for them to participate in. Ms. Rodriguez, thank you so much for sharing with us today and telling us all about the wonderful things happening there at Ayden Middle School.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
We are going to move on now back to our principal, Ms. Harrison. Ms. Harrison, a lot of parents will often ask me, how big is the school? How many students are there? Can you talk to us a little bit about your student population size?
Yes, we currently, we have about 410 students. We have grown considerably in the last 3 years. When I arrived, we were 389, and
Wow.
yes, we have grown, which is awesome. Class size runs about 23 to 25. Some of our classes, our advanced classes, actually are our biggest classes. So sometimes we're kind of stretched to the limit with our advanced math, and even our math one. Those classes are sitting at 30 plus. So that's a good problem to have when we have students motivated to excel in some of those classes.
Probably because you have such great things happening there. Everything Miss
We try to
Rodriguez told us,
push.
I think everybody's getting flocked to Ayden Middle School.
Yes, and we have been really fortunate because of all the things. I was so glad she went first because she really gave a really good picture of all the things, because we want to think of it, the whole child, not just academics. We want to think about what are some things you're interested in and try to provide activities that foster their interest. Because we realize we want a well-rounded child when they leave us.
Certainly.
Yes.
So, Miss Harrison, I know a lot of parents watching this are leaving elementary school and getting ready to head to middle school. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the differences? Maybe a different, I assume they don't get white folders every week in middle school
No.
anymore. What are some communication differences that happen when they move on to middle school?
When they move to middle school, we start to, and some parents have I understand letting go is hard. But when they arrive here at middle, we try to teach the independence. So part of that communication is heavily dependent upon the student. Our teachers do use communication systems such as Class Dojo, Remind, for quick messages to parents. And the feedback we've gotten from parents is they really, really enjoy just that little ping to their phone. So our 6th and 7th grade, they do Class Dojo, and our 8th grade, they use Remind. I do a weekly newsletter, and I love the new system that Pitt County has adopted with the SMORE newsletter and giving us access, because it's provided opportunities for me to send a quick message and parents receive it either Facebook, email, or text message. Because I realize people have different comfort levels in how they receive information and how they process it. So we try to reach out, but we do depend upon the student to really have that independence from elementary. We do not send out a weekly folder, but messages are sent via Canvas or either through those different vehicles the teachers have, the Remind or the Class Dojo.
Excellent.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
parents who are watching, things are going to
Yeah.
change a little
Yeah.
bit, but you're not going to lose communication with your school. You've got Miss Harrison still reaching out to you in multiple ways. Teachers are still using those classroom apps that let you know how your child is doing each
Yes.
day. So there will be some changes, but you still got the communication.
I
And
did want to offer one more way. I'm sorry. Every student that comes to us, we give them a zip up binder that has dividers, because we realize students are having to organize more things when they come to us. So
Yeah.
that's the other thing that we have to work on with our students is organization. They get a zip up binder and we color code them by grade level.
Oh, wow.
So we recognize if a 6th grader, they're blue, our 7th grades are purple, and our 8th grade, they get a red binder. And so that kind of gives them a little unity in terms of trying to create that class community, that group community. And they also get a planner when they arrive.
Yes, that's a big piece, that planner, when middle schoolers can start really learning about managing their time and making
Yes.
plans.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes,
And I'll
ma'am.
also just say to parents, if you all have seen me on Facebook Lives or on any media stations, I always say, remember that you can communicate with your child's teacher from the very beginning of the year. Introduce yourself to their teacher, develop that relationship, so that it's easy to communicate about easy things and difficult things throughout the school year.
Yes, yes.
So we're going to move on now to Miss King, the assistant principal there at Ayden Middle School. And Miss King, we'll give her a second to get unmuted and get her camera back on. Like I said, we're filming in the pandemic, so
Yes.
working with all our technology pieces.
Yes, I think she's coming on and there she is.
And Miss King is going to tell us a little bit about the bus schedule. And we know if you're in a room with people, we'll understand if you need to keep your mask on to talk to us. Absolutely.
I tried to move around a little bit and I didn't know if you could see the outside. I don't know how to flip this thing so that you could see. But here at Ayden Middle School, we house 2 buses. We have a number of our students who do, take advantage and ride our school buses each day. And of course, we have all protocols in place to make sure that we're safe on our buses, make sure that students understand the procedure for riding a bus. But one of the fortunate things that we are grateful for is that we only house 2 buses here, but we share buses. We share buses with the elementary school, which is directly across the street, which is very convenient, and the high school. So we're sandwiched in the middle. So we have our high school on one side, on the right side, and the middle elementary school on the left side. So we're very fortunate that the 3 of us in this cohort, we house our own buses, but we get to share, drivers. We get to assist each other when somebody's out and somebody needs to pull a driver real quickly. Then we can call each other and communicate real quickly, and get students to school and home very safely. We also provide transportation for our EC students that are able to be transported safely on school buses as well. And in the afternoons, we drop off a number of our students across the street behind the elementary school to the Boys and Girls Club. That is like an after school, program for them. So we make sure that they get to that place safely so that, they can continue with their day before mom or dad comes to pick them up. So that's basically the buses. We try to keep them running. We keep our kids safe to and from school. And, we try to make sure that they follow the same procedures and protocols that we have in place for behavior in the school as well as on the school buses.
Great. Thank you so much. One question that I'd like to ask you also, Ms. King, while you're talking a little bit about transportation, for parents who might be bringing their children to school, and they're making some plans for next school year, what time should they plan to have their children at the school building?
Have the children at the school building before 8 o'clock. We take in regular time. I'm trying to remember now. It's been this pandemic time, I think, is mess with our brains. Around 7:30. So yeah, we need to be here before 8 o'clock.
Okay.
About 7:15. So the schools usually starts at 7:30 and we get out at 3 o'clock.
Okay, that was my next question, is what time should parents come back and collect their children?
Yeah.
So around 3 o'clock.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much. I know lots of parents who are watching certainly want to know about the transportation logistics, getting kids to and from school. We are going to move now to the Media Center with Ms. Hill and find out what happens in a Media Center there at Ayden Middle School.
All right, well, I turned my camera around so that you can actually see the Media Center behind me. And we were so blessed. We recently got a Perkins grant where we were able to completely rearrange the library or Media Center and turn it into a learning commons. So you can see the furniture behind me is all very colorful. It's also very mobile. So we have a variety of chairs and booths and tables with whiteboard tops, and we can accommodate single individual people that need to do work, small groups, large groups, and we can reconfigure and move everything, including our bookshelves, so different multiple groups of people can be in here and use it at the same time. Even with the COVID, we're able to accommodate and spread people out, and it has been a huge blessing to be able to do that. We at this school, we really promote reading, so we have monthly this or that reading challenges. So students can choose from one or the other. This month is to read historical book, so kind of like a time travel, even though it doesn't really have to be about time travel. They can read the book and like they are doing the time traveling. So a book that is a historical book, fiction or nonfiction, or world travel, so they can travel through a book to another place in the world. So that is February's challenge, and that's open for all students, staff, and the community. So when students read books, they come and tell me about their books. They get a small little prize, and we put their name up on our poster so everybody can see that they have met the challenge. We also promote many resources on our website. We have a virtual library on the Ayden Middle School website that people can look at and look at all different the books that are available, as well as lots of other online resources that are available to our students and staff. The Media Center has Explore classes that come in. We have 2 Explore classes for each grade level. We have a makerspace class, so students come in and they learn and use Legos, robots, kind of like a mini STEM class, I guess. It's not quite to the extent of the STEM class, but the students get to do some hands-on projects and things in that class. And then we have middle school library science. So our students are learning the basics of libraries in the past, the present, and the future, and how media centers and libraries are still going to be around in the future, but how we need to make them available to everyone, those in the building and those out of the building. And then of course the ELA classes visit every week, and they come in for a book checkout and trivia time.
Okay, so an opportunity to check books out at least once a week.
Correct, at least once a week. And they can come on their own more often if they need to, but the whole class comes at once a week.
Okay, great. It sounds like there's so many things happening there with that makerspace opportunity and just opportunities for creative minds and creative engagement there at school. Thank you so much for sharing your media center with us. We understand why you think it's the best room in the building. You obviously
Oh, and we have bunny rabbits. Our school has 2 bunny rabbits, and they live in the library.
real ones.
Real ones, yes.
Wow.
Students
Wow. What are their
can
names?
come in and visit the bunny rabbits. Their names are Elvis and Stitch.
Elvis and Stitch. I love it. I love it. So, you know, if you don't have a pet at home, parents, then your kids can be with that pet there at Ayden Middle School.
That's
what
right.
fun. We are going to travel now to Mr. Wade's classroom. He is the STEM teacher there at Ayden Middle School. Mr. Wade, I wonder if you can tell us a little bit about a typical classroom there at Ayden Middle.
Right now I actually have students in class right now. On a normal non-COVID year, my classroom holds up to 24 students.
Okay.
And STEM is designed to you're designed to work with a partner. But due to COVID, obviously my numbers are lower and students are working individually now. STEM is kind of, it's not like your typical core class, obviously. We do a lot of self-guided project-based learning. We go through these things called expeditions.
Ooh.
Expeditions, each grade level has different titles that they work through. Typically, an expedition would last anywhere from 4 to 5 weeks due to the A schedule. We're looking at about a 9-week time period to finish an expedition this year.
All right. Mr. Wade, I am really curious about something in your classroom. Your
Okay.
camera is focused a little bit towards the ceiling, and I see a lot of color on your ceiling. And I
Okay,
wonder
so
what that's about.
let's talk about that. I was blessed. Actually, let's look at this. All right, so this is, I know my camera's messed up. So
Yeah, that's perfect.
this is actually
Wow.
the 15-16. I actually have a year-long STEM class here at Ayden Middle School. It's a select group of 8th graders. And at the end of every year, they paint ceiling tiles. If I can paint, this camera is getting me.
That's all right.
They paint ceiling tiles based on kind of what they did for that school year. So this is 15-16, and I've got on up, let's see, I got 16-17.
Oh, fun.
Last year, let's go to last year's group. We have, you can kind of see they even put pictures of themselves.
Wow.
So yeah, every year at the end of the year, I let my year-long STEM class paint some tiles. So that's kind of what we do.
Thank you. That's a really exciting and unique thing to Ayden Middle there.
Yeah. Also, on top of STEM, I also head up Technology Students Association Club.
Oh.
Compete in regional and state events. I'm also the head of the Varsity Science Olympiad team. And we compete in regional and state events.
Fantastic.
Also, so, yeah, I'm one of 7 what you call explore or encore teachers here at Ayden Middle School. We have PE, we have art, band and orchestra, music and chorus, AIG first semester, and we have 2 CTE courses.
Okay, and tell us what CTE stands for.
Career Technical Education.
Excellent. So tell us, Mr. Wade, does every student take every one of those classes, or is there a little bit of choice for them to choose which encore classes they have in middle school?
This year they actually got to choose which encore classes they wanted. So typically they don't necessarily get to choose, but they can request if they wanted to be in STEM or wanted to be in AIG or whatever. They can request that, but this was the first year that they kind of got to pick which ones they wanted to do.
And how many encore classes do they take a semester?
There's 2 encore classes a semester, unless you're in a year-long class. So I would have students in year-long STEM. There's also a year-long orchestra, and I think there's a year-long chorus class as well.
Okay, that's really helpful. I know a lot of parents out there are really curious about how encore transitions in middle school. So it's helpful to know what their options are. And so basically you're saying they'll get 4 by the end of a year.
Yes.
So a 6th grader could take 4
Yes.
encore classes.
4, they would get 4, yes. And you can, and I've had students to have STEM all 3 years. So it's just it's just random how some students might, and I've also had some students come to the building that have never had STEM. So it's just random as far as what you get, but you can request if you want to be in a certain class, you can request.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing your classroom and particularly those exciting ceiling tiles with us.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So we are going to move now to a special place in Ayden Middle School called the intersection. Ms. Harrison, tell us about the intersection. You're still muted.
Thank you.
Here we go. Perfect.
Yes, this is the intersection, and like I originally said, this is where all of our core classes are housed, and I'm gonna turn this way. You can see behind me, those are 6th and 7th grade classes. And then I'm gonna kind of turn slowly.
Thank you. We don't want to make anybody seasick.
And that's our 7th. We have 2 more 7th grade classes and the rest of 8. One of the things I wanted to create is a family and a community. I know one of the concerns that I typically hear from students that will be entering 6th grade is, will my child get lost? No, they won't get lost. They either make a left or right. No matter where they go, there's no long drawn hallways. They're either going to make a left, right. That's the unique thing about our school, is that we're just kind of wrap our arms around all the students when they enter here.
What a wonderful description.
Yes,
that makes me want to come.
Yes, we are family, even to the point that, we're thinking about jokingly getting porch awnings for our doors with
I love it.
Because
I love it.
We have created a family here.
Ms. Harrison, I see behind you that there are lockers, and I know that some schools have students use lockers and some don't. And let's just pretend, we're all hoping for a normal year next year with no COVID precautions, hopefully, fingers crossed. Yes. So in a regular, typical year, do students at your school use lockers, or how does that work?
We do use lockers. In a typical school year, we do use lockers. Students can purchase a lock, or they can bring an approved lock from home and use their own lock. We do sell those. Those run about $7 for the lock. We anticipate being able to use those lockers because students begin to kind of create their own little home away from home inside their lockers. One of the questions we get from our incoming 6th graders is they're frustrated about their lock and how to do that. That's the one thing. So our 6th grade team, they wait about a month into the school year before they start transitioning the students, because they kind of want to get the classroom processes down first before they start introducing the lock, because it does present some frustration, because students have to be prepared. They have to know what to leave in the locker. They have to know what they're going to need later, because we only provide so many locker breaks during the day. I think it's 2. One kind of mid-morning and one before they go home. Yes,
All
ma'am.
right.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
they are having to do some time management and some planning
Yes,
about what they'll keep with them and what will go in the locker.
yes,
Excellent.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you for
Yes, ma'am.
showing us that great space in your school. I do think you're right. Lots of parents wonder, are their students going to get lost? And I
Yes,
think even if they take the wrong choice, if they're supposed to go left and they actually go right, I bet
yes,
there's a teacher that will help them get the
yes,
other way.
yes, yes. We always try to have adults during transition periods. We do have the bells, and that helps with organization and um, they kind of know when the end of the period is going to come. We try to ring a warning bell about 5 minutes because our teachers need it too, because sometimes they're teaching so hard they forget that, okay, I need to go ahead and wrap this up. So we have a little warning bell that kind of gives them maybe 3 minutes, and then the bell to change. Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. I
Yes,
love you hearing that those teachers get so passionate about what they're
oh yeah,
teaching. They just forget it's time to stop because they
oh
just
yeah,
love what they do. I
yeah,
love it.
yes. The bells help keep us on track.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ms. Harrison,
mean-
before we end our
she just took-
tour of your wonderful school,
something
I
about
wonder if
public
there's anything
schools. I
else
guess
you'd
this
like to
lady-
share with us?
Well, one of the things I know, transition in the middle school can
Yeah,
be
something
hard
like that,
and
but I think it's
difficult
more like a
for parents.
state type
But
thing.
the
So they
one
said
thing
that
I
they
want
may
them to
show these.
realize
Uh-oh, didn't-
is that we are going to push, we're going to challenge when we start seeing the skills and gifts that their students possess. And I deliberately stood above this quote. I know it reads backwards, but this is one of the key mottos that drives us.
It
in what
actually
we
shows
do.
perfectly. It's not
So,
backward.
there's no growth in your comfort zone and no comfort in your growth zone. That's what drives our how we do things, how we motivate, and how we challenge our students to be the best. And one thing I want parents to know that we're going to take care of their babies because we consider them our babies. We're going to wrap them up, and there's going to be some adult here that will look out for their baby because we
And I
realize,
think that's what every parent wants to hear.
yes, parents send us the best they have, and we're going to try to take that gift that they send to us and just wrap them up, challenge them. There are going to be times where they may not agree with some of the things, but they have to understand that we see the big picture and that we want to produce, like I said at the beginning, a well-rounded student. So when they enter high school, they can just do whatever it is their heart desires and be successful at it.
Absolutely. Well, Ms. Harrison, it just sounds like great things are happening there at Ayden Middle School. Parents, I just want to say to you, if you have further questions, I know Ms. Harrison, Ms. King, any of the folks on the call today would be more than happy to answer your questions as you are thinking about your choices for next year. As always, you can reach out to Parents for Public Schools, and we're happy to help connect you to these wonderful people who might be able to further answer your questions. To Ms. Harrison, Ms. King, Ms. Hill, Mr. Wade, and Ms. Rodriguez, we are so thankful that you took your time today to give us a bit of a virtual tour of your school. Parents, I hope you found this helpful. And again, reach out if you have further questions. Everybody have a great day.
Thank you.